or Arsenal, in the final Inter rode a roller coaster to win this game. They were 2-0 up at half-time after goals by Martinez and a penalty by Calhanoglu. But Barcelona poured it on Inter early in the second half and scored 2 goals in 10 minutes to equalize. Barca thought they'd won it when Rafinha gave them the lead 3 minutes from time, but Acerbi grabbed an equalizer deep into stoppage time to send the game into extra time. Fratesi scored a smartly taken goal on the 99th minute to give Inter the lead, and the home side managed to hold on to see out the win, with Sommer making some crucial saves from Yamal. Inter will face either PSG or Arsenal in the final. The stadium was electric. Inter Milan stood on the brink of a Champions League final, and the atmosphere at San Siro was feverish with hope and pressure. Facing them was Barcelona, experienced, dangerous, and hungry. But from the opening whistle, it was Inter who showed their teeth. Barely settled into the game, Inter struck. A swift, incisive attack carved through Barcelona's midfield. Nicolo Barella slipped a perfect pass to Lautaro Martinez, who took a deft touch before rifling the ball into the bottom corner. The stadium exploded 1-0. The momentum was theirs. Before Barcelona could regroup, disaster struck again. A surging run from DiMarco down the left was cut short by a clumsy challenge in the box. The referee pointed straight to the spot. Hakan Calhanoglu, ice in his veins, stepped up and buried the penalty with ruthless precision. 2-0 to Inter by halftime, and the home fans dared to dream. But Barcelona weren't done. They came out of the tunnel for the second half with fury in their boots and fire in their eyes. In just minutes, they halved the deficit. Lewandowski finding space in the box to slot home. Inter barely had time to breathe before another attack came. Pedri danced between defenders, exchanged passes with Ansu Fati, and curled a shot into the top corner. Just like that, it was 2-2. Inter's lead had vanished in 10 chaotic minutes. Still stunned, Inter tried to settle, but Barcelona pressed on. As the clock ticked into the final moments, it looked like penalties might be looming, until Rafinha changed everything. With 3 minutes left in regular time, he cut inside from the right, shifted the ball onto his left foot, and unleashed a rocket that thundered past Sommer. Barcelona had turned the game on its head, from 2-0 down to 3-2 up. And with so little time left, it looked over. But Inter refused to accept defeat. The fourth official raised the board. 5 minutes of added time. The San Siro crowd, now desperate, roared their team forward. One final corner. One last chance. The ball swung in. Chaos in the box. A loose clearance fell kindly, and Francesco Acerbi pounced. His strike found the back of the net. The stadium erupted in sheer disbelief. 3-3. Extra time. Drained but alive, Inter pushed forward in the added minutes. In the 99th, David Fratesi seized his moment. Stealing the ball near midfield, he sprinted into space, played a slick 1-2 with Mkhitaryan, and slotted a calm finish under pressure. It was a goal of composure and class, and it gave Inter the lead once again. Barcelona pressed hard in the final stretch. Young Lamine Yamal came close, twisting through defenders, launching a curling shot toward the corner. But Jan Sommer, Inter's last wall, flung himself into the air and clawed the ball wide with a fingertip save. The final whistle blew. Players collapsed to the turf, some in agony, others in elation. Inter had survived a storm. They had given away a lead, fought back from the brink, and in the end, stood tall. The scoreboard read 4-3 after extra time, and the fans sang louder than ever before. Inter Milan were going to the final. The San Siro pulsed with nervous energy, a coliseum of blue and black under the floodlights. The banners waved, drums pounded like war calls, and every chant from the crowd carried the weight of history. Inter Milan were 90 minutes away from a Champions League final. Standing in their path, Barcelona, decorated, dangerous, and deadly when underestimated. From the very first kick, Inter looked ready. Sharp, alert, and aggressive, they seized control. Nicolo Barella, ever the midfield general, snapped into tackles and launched forward with purpose. Just 15 minutes in, it happened. Barella found space, threaded a delicate pass through two defenders. Lautaro Martinez peeled off his marker, took one perfect touch, and then, bang, a clinical finish into the far corner. The San Siro erupted. 1 goal, 1 foot in the final. Barcelona staggered, stunned. They tried to regroup, to slow the tempo, but Inter smelled blood. DiMarco burst down the left flank and cut inside, only to be clipped by Koundé in the box. The whistle shrieked. Penalty. Now they would face either PSG or Arsenal. One last battle to decide everything. The clock is ticking in Manchester. The Premier League season may be nearing its end, but behind the walls of Old Trafford, a different kind of countdown has begun. Not to a trophy, not to a final, but to a farewell. Al Hilal have made it official. A formal bid, a meeting with the agent. No more rumors. They want Bruno Fernandes, and they want him now. Not next season, not in 6 months, but before the Club World Cup kicks off. The timing is no accident. The Saudi giants know exactly what they're doing. They see a club under pressure, a squad in transition, a captain carrying too much weight, and they're ready to strike, offering riches and relevance to a player who's given everything, but may no longer fit the future. Inside Manchester United, it's a bombshell. Not because the bid came, but because of what it represents. Bruno Fernandes has been more than a playmaker, more than a leader. He's been the last beating heart of an era that promised revival, but never delivered. He arrived to save the post-Ronaldo years. He fought through managers, systems, and chaos. He bled for the badge when others disappeared. But now, even that isn't enough. Ruben Amorim is building something new, something precise, ruthless, tactical. A 3-4-2-1 machine that doesn't orbit around a single star, but around systemized control, discipline, positional mastery. And for all of Bruno's brilliance, questions remain. Does he still fit? That's the dilemma. Keep the captain and risk compromising the system, or let him go and reshape the club with the funds of a blockbuster deal. Al Hilal know United are vulnerable. Financial rules tightening, a squad needing fresh blood, wages bloated, pressure mounting. They aren't just offering money, they're offering an exit strategy. One that could fund 2, maybe 3 top-level signings before preseason even begins. United's board hesitates, not out of nostalgia, but out of fear. Selling Bruno means handing over not just a leader, but an identity. To the fans, he is still the soul of this broken team. Letting him go will spark fire. But keeping him might delay the rebuild Amorim was brought in to deliver. In private, the manager has already begun to plan for both outcomes. The captain, the heartbeat, the last warrior, still bleeding red when others had given up. It wasn't just interest, it was a statement, a number too large to ignore. Saudi gold, knocking at United's door, offering a future that could clear debts and fund signings in one swift motion. The board hesitated. Fans were torn. But Amorim, he stayed silent, watching, calculating. He respected Bruno deeply, his fight, his leadership, his moments of magic in the darkest nights. But this was no longer about legacy. This was about fit, system, vision. The 3-4-2-1 needed more than passion. It needed precision. And if Bruno couldn't anchor that system, then even a captain could be sacrificed. The reality was this: no one was sacred. In a single season, Amorim had made it clear: Only 4 players were untouchable. Everyone else, even those once seen as cornerstones, were now assets. Bruno Fernandes, the face of post-Ronaldo United, was suddenly a decision, a big one. And the club stood at a crossroads, to hold on to the past or to finance the future. And so, behind the scenes, the club weighs every angle. Amorim, ever the tactician, already has alternatives. He knows who can replace the role, if not the man. He knows what this money can buy. He knows what this sacrifice can unlock. The decision now is emotional for the fans, but for the manager, it's surgical. Meanwhile, Fernandes waits. He's not pushing for an exit, but he's not closing the door either. The meeting with Al Hilal was real. The interest is mutual. A decision must come quickly before the Club World Cup deadline. If Bruno stays, the system bends slightly, but not fully. If he leaves, Amorim goes all in. Total control. A midfield restructured, a new creative core. Younger legs, sharper transitions. No compromises. Either way, the squad will look radically different by the time the second season kicks off. Because this isn't just about Bruno. This is about the direction of Manchester United. A club that once ruled by legacy is now making decisions by logic. Bruno Fernandes stands at the crossroads of 2 eras. To stay is to adapt. To go is to ignite the rebuild. And for Al Hilal, the deal is there. The door is open. The money is on the table. All that remains is a signature. The question is no longer if Manchester United will change. It's how much they're willing to sacrifice to make it happen.